All right, check the stream.
Yeah, like average.
Kind of straight. Set it straight. Kind. All right, Shalom. We're the brothers from the Great Millstone Branch out in Iowa. And we're going to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory
To Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Krakodash.
Yahweh is the true, holy, and powerful name of the Heavenly Father. Bahashem, meaning in the name. Yahweh Shai is the true, holy, and powerful name of His only begotten Son, who is the Savior of the nation of Israel, starting off with the elect within the nation of Israel. And Israel consists of you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, as well as your Israelite foreigners scattered abroad, and they look like the nations where you've been scattered to, but are Israelites. And we also want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, pushing out the word in all sincerity and the truth. All right, so we're the brothers from the Great Millstone Branch out in Des Moines, Iowa. And just coming at you with a live stream, in the spirit. And as you see in the title, it says, when my father and my mother forsake me, ... All right, that comes from a precept in the book of Psalms. All right, because one thing that, coming into this faith that is a trial, for a lot of individuals, man, coming in is dealing with, the rejection of your household, all right, the rejection of those that you might have once loved and had a lot of compassion for, and how they begin to look at you crazy or whatever the case may be, and bearing all of that, man. And that's a part of the it's a rite of passage, all right? It's a rite of passage to go through those, trials and tribulations, all right, to get closer to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And you got a lot of individuals that because of that tug of, loved ones, all right, father, mother, wife, or these different things, all right, they end up sacrificing their relationship with the Lord to try and maintain a relationship with these different individuals, man. All right, so that's why it's a big trial, all right, because a lot of people aren't willing to do what they need to do to stay close to the Lord, all right, because they don't want to lose those ties, man. But through faith in these precepts, all right, and through ultimately the guidance of the Holy Spirit, all right, the Lord strengthens us through that, man, all right, to be able to bear that and continue to serve the Lord, because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is if we're accepted by Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So going into that precept, brother, got it?
Yeah, this is Psalms 27 and verse 10. It says, when my father and my mother forsake me, then the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai will take me up.
Right, it says, when my father and my mother forsake me, the Lord will take me up. All right, and that's what the Lord has done for us, man. All right. We've been separated from our families, ties, and relationships have been broken or lost, or whatever the case may be. And we've been, comforted through the Holy Spirit, man. And we've been comforted with a true family, all right? A true brotherhood, man. What did Yahweh Shai say, man? If a brother could grab that, where he said, who's my mother, who's my brother, Because this is the true family that the Lord is concerned with. All right. It was another individual that, he was going to follow Yahweh Shai. He said, first let me go and bury my father. And then he said, let the dead bury the dead. Go and preach, the kingdom of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right. So just showing you that his family, all right, the Lord called them dead. All right. That doesn't mean that you don't honor your father and you don't honor your mother. Of course, that's written in the law. That's what we're supposed to do, right? But we prioritize Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai above that. And if prioritizing the Lord above those relationships, if that's what's necessary, then that's what's necessary. That's what Peter talked about, man. He said, we've forsaken all and followed thee. Then he went into a list of different things that he forsook, and we can go into that as well. But, you brothers got it.
This is Matthew 12 and verse 46. It says, while yet he talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren stood without, desiring to speak with him. Then one said unto him, behold, thy mother and thy brother stand without, desiring to speak with thee. But he answered and said unto him that told him, who is my mother, or who is my brother? And he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples and said, behold, my mother and my brother. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother.
That's right, man. So that shows you who the true family is, man. All right, that's who the Lord is concerned about, man. Even Paul, he said, I endure all things for the elect's sake, for the Lord's family, for his house, right? So we have these different connections that, we grew up having, and, people that you loved and you cared about and everything like that. But once again, that's a part of the test. It's a trial, all right? Because the Lord sees like, okay, well, all right, you know, you say you believe in me, you say you're gonna follow me. Well, do you love me more than these? All right, these different individuals, man. You know, or are you gonna, have a greater love for these carnal connections and so on and so forth? All right, and putting the relationship with me on the back burner for those things, man. And that's a test. All right. But like it says in that Wisdom of Solomon, I know you guys spoke about it earlier. If a brother can grab that in Wisdom of Solomon,
10 and 5.
Yeah, 10.
This
You
is
brothers holding anything as well?
Yeah, I'm holding something, but if
Come. All right.
This is Wisdom of Solomon 10 and verse 5. It says, moreover, the nations in their wicked conspiracy being confounded, she found out the righteous and preserved him blameless unto the Most High, and kept him strong against his tender compassion toward his son.
Right. This is speaking about Abraham, man. When it came down to sacrificing Isaac. Okay. Now, Abraham loved Isaac, called him his only son. Yeah, Ishmael, he ended up having other children later, but it called him his only son. All right. That he loved, man. So showing you the type of love that he had, man. All right. But when the Lord told him to sacrifice him, he went with it. He's like, okay, cool. First and foremost, he had faith in the resurrection, all right, because the Lord already said the promise was going to come through Isaac. So the only way that he reasoned was like, well, if the Lord said it, that's what's going to happen. So he must going to be raising him up. You can read about that in the book of Hebrews, man. Paul broke it down how that was his reasoning, man. All right, he believed that the Lord was going to raise him up, okay? But just the simple fact of putting his child on the altar. Now, keep in mind that he had that child in his old age, okay? The Lord blessed him with that child and then turned around. All right, years later after he raised him up, enjoyed time with him and everything like that. All right, go put him on the altar. All right, and then when he was about to sacrifice him, the Lord had stopped him and he said, now I know that you fear me. All right, now I know that you fear me. So that's why I said that it's a test that we go through at times, man. Some is heavier for others, right? But it's still a part of that battle. All right, are you going to be obedient to what I said? All right, are you more concerned with the relationship that you have with me or with these other individuals, even if it comes down to a child, man? So it shows you that that wisdom kept him from his strong compassion, man, because we have to believe that the Lord said whatever we have to give up for him, we're going to get it 100-fold going into that Matthew the 19th chapter. So we have to stand on that. So whatever it is that we have to put on the altar, whatever it is that we have to sacrifice, we're going to get it back anyways. And the things that the Lord tells us to put on the altar and sacrifice are things that he gave to us anyways, man. Mm-hmm. So he's like, all right, let me just borrow that back. Let me get that back from you real quick. I'm going to give it back to you on the other side, or I'll give it back to you on this side later down the road. All right, but it takes a mind frame of faith to do that, man.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't be a sacrifice if it wasn't uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be of importance if it was something that's whatever to you.
Right.
So yeah, sure, go ahead and take it. But
take it, man.
Yeah, but when it's something like that, where you have that love and affinity towards it, and it's like the apostle was saying the other day, man. It's like every brother's situation and tests and trials is tailor-made to that specific brother. So the Lord knows our emotions, different sentiments.
What pulls on your heartstrings.
Exactly. And so in that example, it was like, bro, that's what it was. That man that offered, he said, whatsoever cometh into the gate first, that's what I'm going to offer into the Lord. Bro, you read it and it's like, damn. Yeah. But really, to put yourself in that mindset, it's like, man, bro.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it a sacrifice. You really resist. You're resisting your own desires and compassions, like it says. I got this real quick. I don't know if a brother had read it when I had left, but this St. Matthew chapter 10.
And just real quick, because of that man that you mentioned about going into the account, he said that the first thing that comes into the gate, I'll offer it. And what was the first thing that came to the gate? It was his daughter. All right. Yeah, I believe it was. I believe it was. So what? He ended up having to sacrifice his daughter, and he went with it. And then it even shows you the integrity of his daughter. He's like, well, if that's what you said, then that's what it is, man. But then it also shows you a lot of lessons of that, man. Don't be making no vow. You know what I'm saying? It's like you didn't have to do that, but nevertheless, it's a lesson for our learning, man. You got to be careful about the things that you say, especially, doing a vow of something of that magnitude, man. All right. But he ended up going through with the sacrifice, man. So the Lord is going to pull on our heartstrings or different things that, it could be pulling us, all right, because the Lord is a jealous power. So when he says that put no other gods before me, all right, he really means that. And he's going to put us in the fire or try us with certain things to see if we're going to put those things before him, man.
Come on, this is St. Matthew 10 and verse 37. It says, he that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me.
Actually, start up at verse 34 on that.
Come on, verse 34. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword.
Right, when you read in the gospel in the book of Luke, he said, think not, I came to bring division.
Right, the division.
Yep. So the belief in Yahweh Shai is going to bring division. It's going to separate you, from your household.
Yep.
Why? Because the Lord hasn't given them the same understanding that he's given unto you. It is given unto you to understand the mystery. So the fact that your so-called relatives and family, loved ones, friends, the fact that they don't understand is because the Lord didn't give them the understanding. He didn't give them the mysteries. He called you. You get it. All right? You got that understanding. It don't matter how you break it down. It don't matter how you talk to them and this and that and the third. If the Lord shut their mind, they ain't going to get it. But the beautiful thing about it is that if they're Israelite, everybody going to get it eventually. All right? They're going to understand. They're going to understand. And that was something that comforted me, first coming in when I had to deal with certain things and everything like that. I was like, well, according to prophecy, they're going to get it on the other side. They're going to understand.
They're going to understand, and then they're going to appreciate the sacrifice that you made in this time.
And they're gonna also feel ashamed, or if they aren't the elect and they don't, make it, man, they're gonna feel ashamed, for the denial, for how they mistreated you, how they came up against you. But they're gonna understand, man. They're gonna understand that sacrifice. When Yahweh Shai was being sacrificed, they didn't understand that, what was going on, right? The same thing now. Your family and this and that and the third, they don't know what's going on. All right. They still think about here or whatever the case may be. They don't know. But they will. And they'll appreciate it. So you gotta stand 10 toes down for the Lord through the end, regardless of the incredulity of them that speak against thee, their unbelief, man. That's like you, right?
Back in this Matthew chapter 10 and verse 35. It says, for I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.
Right, so that's what it's going to be. There's going to be division, all right? That's a part of the territory, man. Even Yahweh Shai, man, if a brother could grab that where he said it was, they called Yahweh Shai beside himself. It said that Yahweh Shai was beside himself, man. This is the son of the Heavenly Father that created everything, man. And look at how our people, looked at him. And these were his friends, relatives, people that he grew up with that was saying this, man. But brother got it?
It says, Mark 3 in verse 20, it says, and the multitude cometh together, cometh together again, so that they could not so much as eat bread. And when his friends heard of it, they went out to lay hold on him, for they said, he is beside himself.
Right, so these are people that he grew up with, people that knew his father, his mother, his sisters, his other brothers, his siblings, and everything like that. They looked at him like, man, this dude, he beside himself right now. If brother, you got that in the NLT?
I can grab it quick.
Yeah.
Mark 3, and I'm already here if you want me to read it.
We got it first.
Yeah, this Mark chapter 3 and verse 21 in the NLT. It says, when his family heard what was happening, they tried to take him away. He's out of his mind, they said.
Now, you can look at that in the spirit, man. All right? Because your family will try and take you away. They're going to look at it like, man, this dude, he throwing away his life, man. And they'll be sincere. But they got Satan on them. All right? They got a demon on them, just like with Peter. All right? When Peter, they was trying to grab up Yahweh Shai, man. He was like, man, far be it from me, man. I ain't going to let them come grab you, And Yahweh Shai rebuked him. He was like, man, pretty much get thee behind me, Satan. He had pure intent, So your family might have pure intent, man. Look at his life now, man. He had so much potential. They think about this life in this world, man. He could go do this and that and the third, man. I gotta do anything I can to help him. I'm gonna do everything in my power to help him. All right? And they got Satan on them, man, trying to drag you back into the world, man. All right? Trying to make you vain, caught up in the things of this life and the things of this world, man. So just to tie that point in the spirit, it said that his family tried to, draw him away. And you have individuals that actually get drawn away from Yahweh Shai by their family, man. Yep. What do you think is going to happen to those individuals? What excuse are they going to go before Yahweh Shai with? well, you know, my mom and my dad, man, they really wanted me to, you know, or my cousin, man, you know how they. It's like, what excuse are you gonna have? Like, nah, I called you. I told you. I pulled you. I didn't call him. He called you. So what are you gonna do? All right. You know. So that's a part of the territory, man. But you can finish that up.
That was in on the Mark 3.
You can read it again, then, Bible Show.
Come. It says, verse 21 in the NLT in Mark chapter 3. It says, when his family heard what was happening, they tried to take him away. He's out of his mind,
Right.
they said.
It said that what? He's out of his mind. Okay? The servant is not greater than his Lord. If they said Yahushua was out of his mind, how are they going to look at those that are following him? Out of their mind.
You're out of your mind.
They're going to look at your decision making. It's like, bro, why would he do that? Why would he throw away that opportunity? Why would you do this and that and the third? Okay? Well, that's what faith has you do. Belief in these words, man. You're going to operate differently, man. And you're going to be looked down upon it because of that.
Right. And that's what we hear. And we hear from, our loved ones and families that, you're throwing away this life. You're throwing away your life, right? You're not taking full advantage, right, of this life. But, to those that are in the know, right, that have this understanding, that have this wisdom, all right, this place is temporal. This place is CTD.
Yeah.
All right, and it says in the Hebrews 13 and 14, it says, we seek a city to come. Okay, it also says in that Micah 2 and 10 that this is not our rest.
Yep.
So hey, we ought not to be getting comfortable, man. We ought to resist when the temptations and the different I would say like the temptations come and try to pull us back and everything, because I got this real quick. This is 2 Peter 2 verse 20. It says, for if after they have escaped the pollutions of this world through the knowledge of the Lord and Savior Yahushua Mashiach, showing that, hey, through this knowledge, this is how we escape this world, man. This is how this is how we are sanctified. All right.
It says in Micah 2 and 10, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it's polluted. It will destroy you even with a sword of destruction. Just backing you up on that.
It says they are again entangled therein and overcome. The latter end is worse with them than the beginning. For it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness, right? Which is what? The faith in Yahushua, that he has risen, all right? And that he is on his way back, all right? It says, for it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness than after they have known it, to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them. All right? And those that are swayed by these different temptations and go back into the world, man, hey, it's better that you didn't even know, right? That you didn't even come into the knowledge, man, because the latter end is worse than the latter end is worse for you, right? Than if it
was in the first.
Right. If it would have been that if you did not know this knowledge, man.
I got some real quick. This is St. John chapter 15, verse 19. It says, if ye were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. And it was just going back to what the brothers just making mention of about, your family, we just read about, how, Yahushua's family thought that he was crazy. And that's how the world sees us as well. It sees us as well. And another, I think it's in the seventh chapter. It says that the world cannot hate you, but it hateth me because I testify that the works thereof is evil. And this is the same thing that we're doing. We're following the state of Yahushua. We're telling our people that Isaiah 51 and 58 and 1. All right, cry aloud, show our people their transgressions in the house of Jacob their sins. It says that they hateth him that rebuketh in the gate. And this is what this is the message that we're giving. All right, whether our people like it or not, whether they hear or forbear, and they're not gonna be with it, but that just shows that we're not of this world, that the Lord has called us out of this world, all right, and have renewed us, all right, in the spirit and in our minds, man.
Yeah. Colossians the 3rd chapter says, ye are dead and your life is hid with Yahushua Mashiach. And when Yahushua Mashiach, who is our life, appear, that's when we gonna enjoy our real life. You know what I'm saying? So, it's like really having a mind frame of like, we are not of this world. It's like you honor, your father and your mother and so on and so forth, man. But how many fathers and mothers have we had? How many children have you had in all these different carnations, man? How many wives have you had? We in the final lifetime, man. We're gonna get everything back on the other side. So it's really tapping into that mind frame of belief and what's written, belief in Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, which strengthens us to, forsake whatever needs to be forsaken for the kingdom, man. But you got it out.
Right, because the Lord said, it said, if we suffer with him, we shall also reign with him. But it said, if we deny him, he gonna deny us. So we got to make sure we move in according to what the Lord say do, so we can be able to reign with him. So I got a quick one. This St. Matthew chapter 16 and verse 24. It says, then said Yahweh Shai unto the disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. So we have to do that daily. It's another scripture, I think it's in Luke, where it said you got to bear your cross daily. This is an everyday thing we have to do, putting off what we want to do to serve Yahweh Shem Shai. And that's even putting our family on the back burner as well. It says, verse 25, it says, for whosoever would love his life shall lose it.
And just to add to that, if you got children and, wife and wives or whatever, that doesn't mean that you don't take care of your responsibilities.
Right.
All right, we got to take care of our business, man. Okay, but we have to make sure that the Lord is the forefront of our lives. He is a jealous power, So we got to make sure that we're prioritizing these things, and the fact that you're prioritizing the truth, the brotherhood, you're studying, or you're reading, and so on and so forth. All right, that's gonna take a strain of your various relationships that you have with the people in this world. Okay. There's a spirit, because I was listening to the elder Mawadazan out in LA, and he gave the testimony in the lesson last week about him coming into the faith. The Bughouse was talking about the apostles taught us to pretty much kick your wives' ass, did all types of madness. But anyways, he was going into his testimony coming into the faith, man, and that was one of the things, man. He had a relationship and children and everything like that, and so on and so forth. He spoke about it in the lesson, but the point being is that it put a strain on his relationship to where his woman at the time gave him an ultimatum. It was like, well, shit, like, you already know what it is, and I'm following the Lord, So that's why certain things have to be forsaken, because it's taking a strain on these relationships, and people that aren't willing to adjust, okay, they just gonna fall by the wayside, or they gonna move on. And we have to keep our eyes single, man. Right. Because you got people that when those different individuals try and move on, all right, they get to try and hold on and try and, no, you gotta, all right, I can sacrifice, the time on the highways and byways, or I can sacrifice, my studying and my reading time, or I can sacrifice. These are things within the relationship that you have with the Lord that people end up sacrificing, all right, to make a woman happy, all right, to make a friend happy or a child happy or this and that and the third and so on and so forth. And that's not the mind frame that we're in as men of the Lord, man. All right, we've been sitting here on a mission, all right, to serve and to please Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. That is what we're here to do, man. Glorify Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. We don't have a regular civilian life as these regular people here, man. Mm-hmm. Okay, we operate as what? Prophets. The prophets is God's man. All right. Meaning that what? He's there for the service. We on call, At all times, the Lord put the Spirit on us. Hey, do that lesson. All right. I'll go link up with that brother, I'll go do this and go do that. All right. But then you got other people that want to pull at you, want your time, want your energy, and so on and so forth. And you putting your foot down is going to have a strain on that. Stand firm, for your relationship with Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. So, yeah, you got to balance things out to a degree, you gotta do what you gotta do. So take care of your responsibilities, but just prioritize the Lord, man. All right.
It says back in Matthew chapter 16 and verse 25, it says, for whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. And we lost our life here. We living in the Lord now, and we gonna ultimately live when the Lord comes.
Whether we live unto the Lord. Whether we die unto the Lord. Yep. So whether we live, therefore, or die, we are the Lord's, man. Mm-hmm. He says we've been bought with a price. Even Paul said, he was like, look, I'm a slave to Yahweh Shai Mashiach.
They say we are not our own.
Yep. That's right. So with Yahweh, first and foremost, with the shit that we've done, we owe the Lord more than what we can even give him. All right, you know, putting our life down for him, and he did it for us. Like that's the least that we could do. You know, and that ain't even enough. But through the mercy of the Lord, man, you know, it's written that he's going, you know, he's going to accept his elect. And it talks about the mentality and the mind frame that they're going to be in, man. All right. You know, they're going to forsake their life. They're going to forsake certain things, man, to get closer to the Lord, man.
Right.
You know?
This St. Luke chapter 14 and verse 26, it says, if any man come to me and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, yea, in his own life also.
Right. Does that mean that he walk into the crowd and into the crib and kick down the door and slap a bitch?
Right.
You know? You see his little son and daughter, he just throw it through the window. I hate you.
Right.
Nah, bro. That just means that he loves them less.
Exactly. Yep.
So Abraham, it said that he loved Isaac, but shit, he loved them less. He loved Isaac less than the Lord, and he showed that when he was willing to sacrifice him. You know. So that's all that is mean. It's like you love them less. Like, yeah, no, I love you all, you know.
Right.
But I love you less than the Lord, you know.
It says he cannot be my disciple, and whosoever doeth not bear his cross.
So if you can't embody that mentality, he said that you cannot be my disciple.
Yep.
So all these guys that's bugging out about, well, man, they talk about forsaking you and this and that and the third that don't really understand. It's like, look, you can't follow the Lord then. All right. Because if you're going to cave into your wife, if you're going to be caving into your children, if you're going to be caving into your parents and so on and so forth, how are you going to follow the Lord? All right? If the Lord has things required of us, time, effort, and energy that he wants invested into him, all right, but you're allowing all these different people that you have relationships with pull you away, how can you serve Yahweh Shem Yahushua? So somebody's going to be mad. It's either going to be the Lord that's mad, or it's going to be these other people, all right, that's going to be mad. What would you rather have? Okay.
The Lord said, he said you can't serve two masters. Oh, go ahead.
Yep. This is Matthew 6 and verse 24. It says, no man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he would hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve the Most High and mammon.
All right, so you got to make a choice. Who you going to serve this day? You going to serve the flesh, Satan, or you going to serve the Lord? You know, we got to make a decision. You know, as for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord.
Yep. And that mammon, you know, it speaks about, I forget how it's worded in the blue letter, but, you know.
In the NLT, it says enslaved to money.
Yep. So money, but you could tie that into anything that's, you know, you consider valuable.
Right.
You know. And that's the thing. That's why everybody's walk is tailor-made, man, because, you know, something that's very highly valuable to you, all right, it may be different for another brother. So then the Lord may have it to where in your walk or what Satan tries to pull you with is, you know, the woman, or he might try and pull you with, you know, your children, or another brother, you know, he may just try and pull him with just him being able to, he got this, whatever the case may be, free time and, you know, to just pull him to go do that, man, or whatever hobbies, anything, man. These are the wiles of Satan. It's all trying to pull you away from Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So we have to be mindful of that, man. All right, because that's all it is, man, trying to pull you away from the Lord. The scriptures talk about drawing nigh unto Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Well, to get closer to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, that's going to take investing more time, effort, and energy into the Lord in various different means. But if that energy is being put into the Lord, that means that it's being taken away from other things, man. All right? So that's why, you know, you may come into the faith, you may have a woman and this and that and the third, but because now your energy is being more put into the word and to the Lord, it's energy that's being taken away from her. All right, now she's jealous, or now she wants to get control over you, or now this and that and the third, and now she's upset and, you know, trying to find different ways to get your attention and get your energy. All right, you know, or whatever the case may be, man. So this is a part of what's necessary to follow the Lord, man. It's going through those different things and still following the Lord, man. Bearing your cross and continue to follow Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man.
And in that precept, it said, or else he would hold to the one and despise the other. Okay, and the one we need to hold on to is Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right, because hey, you holding on to your family, you holding on to you know the cares of this life, man. It's not going to save you. It's not like the times that we're coming into. All right, like we're going to need divine intervention. Okay, and it's like if you're doing the things that's well pleasing unto the Lord, hey, His hand is not short that it cannot save.
Yeah.
All right, He's a very present help in a time of trouble to them that do the things that's well pleasing unto Him. To them that keep their eyes single on Yahweh Shem Yahushua.
Yeah, that's it. And then sometimes, man, it ain't even like a matter. It's just a matter of just being more disciplined. You know, sometimes you got all this free time and you just sitting there chilling and this and that and the third. When you ain't take care of your studying, your reading, it's like, look, if you would have took care of that, you would have had plenty of time to go, you know, toss the ball against the wall with your shorty or whatever the case may be, or, you know, go take your woman out and everything like that, man. All right. But a lot of guys, man, they just make excuses, want to blame, point the finger at GMS. See, GMS, man, they said this and that the third. It's like, nobody told you to do that. Nigga, balance your time out. All right. Now, if shorty being overbearing is like, no, I need this and that and the third, and give you ultimatums and shit, you make that decision. It's on you. All right. You know, that's on you to make that decision. You know, you find out how to balance your time out with your children and this and that and the third, and you know what's reasonable. Hey, like Paul talked about, man. He was like, look, I'm not telling you these things to put a burden on you, but I'm telling you these things so that you can follow the Lord without distraction.
Right.
All right. So the key thing is, look, we need to follow the Lord and be single, keep our eyes single on the mission, right? Everything else outside of that, that's cool, man. All right. I'm sure, you know, Yeshaya make the joke about, you know, Noah. You know, I was like, shit, man. You know, Noah was probably had some times he was throwing the ball up with Shem, but he had to make sure that ark was taken care of, man. All right. You know, he had children and everything like that. We don't read about all this quality time all the time that he spent with Shem, Ham, and Japheth. We read about him preaching righteousness, all right, and building the ark and getting delivered, okay?
Moving with fear. Like,
yeah, moving in the fear of the Lord. That's what we read about. All right. Did he play around with Japheth and Shem? I'm sure he did. Maybe he did sometimes, you know? Right. But that's not what we're reading about, okay? So what does our mind need to be focused on? Balance out all of that, you know, within your walking was profitable for you in your situation, man. Okay? That was it.
Jump back to this. Oh, yeah, more.
I know you still got that Matthew 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, come.
So,
you got something?
Yeah, but it's cool.
Come.
Back in this Matthew chapter 10.
Somebody go Wisdom of Solomon 3 on that too.
In verse 23. Did I read 22?
Matthew 10. Where you at?
Matthew 10 and 23.
Nah. 22? We was in the 30s, wasn't we?
We was in the 30s. Let me see.
Yeah, 34 is where we started at.
Okay, come.
So you could just start at 35.
Come. Verse 35. It says, For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a man's foes shall be they of his own household.
Right, so this is what comes with following Yahushua. It says that, look, I'm going to set a man at variance. Why? Because, what is that in Jeremiah? I'll just grab it real quick.
Along the family.
Yeah. This is Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 14. It says, Turn, O backsliding children, saith the Lord, for I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city and two of a family, and will bring you to Zion, man. So this shows you that the Lord is dealing with a remnant, all right? But it says one of a city, two of a family, man, all right? You know? So what's going to happen to the rest of the family? They're not going to make it, man. That's the reality of it. But I want everybody to make it. It's like, look, man, that's not what's written, man. All right, that's a harsh reality that a lot of people, and that's why people get so, you know, caught up with the IUIC because they're so family oriented. Mm-hmm. You know, everybody's just going to the kingdom. All right, you know, everybody is just gonna be la-di-da and they just gonna make it up in there. But that's not what we're reading. Okay, what we read about is the Lord dealing with a small few. All right, Yahushua had 2 brothers that believed and 2 that didn't. What you think happened to them niggas that didn't? They was gonna get destroyed. Plain and simple. All right.
Just like Lot and his sons-in-law.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
Warn his sons-in-laws. What you think happened to them niggas?
Right.
All right. They had some regret on their face, I'm sure. All right. Before they got their ass melted, you know. But that's what's written. The Lord said, I'm 2/3 in this land is gonna be cut off and die. Majority of the people that you know and that you see, they're not gonna make it. All right. And that's a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow. It's the reality of it, man.
But at the same time, it's it's the Lord's showing mercy as well, because they're gonna be brought back in the kingdom through the loins of the elect, and they're gonna be in their right mind. So at the end of the day, it's gonna be all good. So it's nothing to really even trip about. Like, you know, whoever the case may be that you got a heart for, like, hey, you gonna see them in the kingdom, man, and they're gonna be in their right mind. It's gonna be harmony. It's gonna be peace. It's gonna be a good time, man.
Yeah,
And that's what we're looking forward to, man.
Because it's the Lord's movie. We all got to fulfill our role. Somebody got to fulfill the role of the elect. Somebody got to fulfill the role of the wicked 2/3 of our people, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's it. You got it.
Come on, verse 37. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me.
Right, so that backs up the other precept that you read. It said that if you love them more than me, right? What did Yahushua say? If you love me, keep my commandments. So our obedience and our allegiance is to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. I'm going to obey the Lord before anybody else. All right? You know? So, you know, mom, dad, don't be going out there on the highways and byways. Can't do that one. Can't do that one. I honor you. You are my father, my mother. I will honor you, but I cannot do that one, man. All right? You know? Why? Because I honor, what does it say? If you love father or mother more than me, you're not worthy. You know?
Right.
So if your woman, man, we need to spend some more time together. Okay. I can't go to camp. Okay, baby, I can't go to camp because, you know, the wife. Well, if your ass not, you're not worthy of the Lord. All right? You know? You always with the brother. It's so late. Why don't you spend some time with me? All right. If you can't get through those battles, all right, and it's tugging on you so much to where you can't put your foot down as a man, you're not worthy of the Lord, man. Well, Apostle Gabar says it all the time, man. Or he used to say it a lot. He said to be a man of the Lord, you got to be a man first. You know? So that's being able to what, man? Be a man, put your foot down like, nah, this is what it is. You got a problem, or you can get to stepping. You know? And a lot of times you show that authority, putting your foot down, it's like they gonna have to, they adjust. All right? Or not.
Right.
Or not. Okay? You know, but what are we called to do? Serve Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. You know?
Yep. 10 toes.
Mm-hmm.
It says, I read this in the Luke though, but I can keep reading it. You have some?
Well, you got that Wisdom of Solomon 3, but it's up to you.
Come on, I'll keep reading it. It says, verse 38, it says, and he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me. He that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it.
Yeah. So that's it, man. You know, but we can hit that Wisdom of Solomon 3.
This is Wisdom of Solomon 3 in verse 1. It says, but the souls of the righteous are in the hand of the Most High, and there shall no torment touch them.
It's a beautiful thing, man. I was reading it. It's the spirit. I was reading this in Psalms earlier. And it says, this is Psalms chapter 4, verse 3. But know that the Lord has set apart him that is godly for himself. So there are spirits that the Lord has separated from the rest of the people unto himself. You know, call from the womb like, nah, you know what? You belong to me. All right? So you're on my mission. You're here to do what I told you to do. All of that other stuff, don't worry about it. I'm going to reward you for all of that, but do what I told you to do. And like the brother said, man, like, look, if they're Israelite, oh, man, I'll see you in a little bit. You know? I ain't even thinking about what you're going to go through because you're going to go through it.
Right.
But shit, I'll see you in a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. You're going to get right later. Even our apostles, man, even with these niggas that be talking shit coming up against us, Sakari, all right, the Pegasus, you know, the chief pegger, that nigga got to get sent back to the spirit realm. And when he come back in the kingdom of heaven, his ass going to be good. He ain't going to peg ever again. All right, that's going to be the end of pegging for him, man. All right? He ain't going to ever send this woman off to go sleep with an Edomite, all this weird shit, bro. The nigga just need to get reset.
Hard reset.
A hard reset. And the majority of our people, they just need a hard reset to get right. Because this is the last time. You know? This is the last time to see a wicked nigga, man. You ain't gonna see a wicked. Bro, you be seeing niggas, bro, 6'3", 2'2", and heels. That nigga need to die. But the Lord is so merciful that he's like, you know what, I'm gonna reset his ass, and all that filth gonna be gone. All our people gonna be righteous. You know? Alright? So that's what we're looking forward to, man. So us in the know have to understand that it's just a part of it, you know. your so-called loved ones, they're gonna be all right on the other side. You know, you're gonna see them later. You're gonna know whose spirit that is through the spirit. You know, man, that was my auntie. You know, in this lifetime. Cause come on, man, how many times once again, how many children have you had? How many wives have you had? How many aunties and uncles and niggas you done grew up with, from back in Rome and back when we was in Jerusalem and here and there and all these different lifetimes, man. You know? So we got, man, we looking forward to the kingdom, man, where everything's gonna be set in its rightful order. But as for what we need to do right now, we just need to lock in, man. The Lord gonna sort out all that other stuff through the Spirit, man. You know?
Endure hardness, man, as a good soldier of Yahushua Mashiach. You know, overcome the obstacles, right? Through Yahushua, man.
That's right.
Right? It says that through Yahushua we are more than conquerors.
That's right.
You know, so hey, anything set before us, we can get through it. It says it in I believe it's 1 Corinthians or 2 Corinthians 10 and 13. All right, well, whatsoever is set before us, right? The temptations that's set before us, hey, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua will make a way. All right, like he knows our frame. He knows what we can bear, and he won't put too much on us to where we can't bear. And through it, he makes a way out of it. You know.
Man, it's the spirit. I'm looking at the priest Ayashamata in Mississippi. He got a live on right now entitled "We Haven't Started Living Yet." You know, like this ain't it, man. You know, this ain't it, man. You know, even then, it's like you had people that you once was cool with. He was like, man, that was my guy back in the day or whatever. And it's like now you wake up to this truth and you learn righteousness. It's like, man, we was wicked. You know, we was going off, and now his ass still going off. You can't enjoy him. You know, there's certain people. It's like you can only enjoy him to a certain extent. You know, it's like you got to back away certain conversations or bringing up certain things because then they gonna go off into wickedness or. Then it's like, man, you can't even really enjoy it. But in the kingdom, all of our people gonna be righteous, and we can really enjoy them in their fullness, man. You know, but you got it.
This is Wisdom of Solomon 3 and verse 2. It says, "In the sight of the unwise, they seem to die, and their departure is taken for misery."
Right. So applying this in the spirit, because you had our forefathers that literally died and went through certain things and so on and so forth, man. But once again, it says how we die daily. All right. So it looks like we threw away our lives. All right, we're dead to this world, man. You know, it's like, man, you don't call no more, man. You don't talk to us no more, and this and that and the third. It's like you dead. Yeah, I died to this world, man. You know, all right. My life is hid with the Lord, man. You know, so that's how they look at us, man. All right, but go ahead.
It says, verse 3. It says, "And they're going from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace."
Right, but we're in peace. They're sitting here like, man, you threw your life away. You're doing this and that and the third. The next one is like. Shit, I feel great. I'm in the best position as possible. I got the comforter. I'm with the Lord, man. He finna destroy this place, and all the one right this time, man. We get the mercy of the Lord. We're gonna be all right through it. Like, nigga, we in peace, right?
It says, verse 4. It says, "For though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality. And having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded."
Right, and that's what we looking for, man. We looking forward to that reward, man. The book of Sirach, I think it's it's Wisdom of Solomon. The 2nd chapter says how they didn't perceive a reward for blameless souls, man. They can't see it. They don't think it's a reward for this. That's why all they talk about is what you're losing and what you gave up and how you're destroying your life. All right, when you have certain conversations, they're like, man, can't believe you did all of this and that and the third. They're thinking about the here and the now. All right, they don't perceive a reward for what you're doing, because if they did, they would be encouraging you. Yeah. They'd be like, man, go hard for the Lord. Whatever you need to do to please the Lord, man, go.
I was about to say, hella friends.
Right. Yeah, it'd be a hella friend. Right. Yeah, man, go out there, man. Cheering you on.
Whatever you need, man, I'm rooting for you.
Yeah, I'm rooting for you, dog. Keep pressing, man. But they don't see a reward for it. But you know what? You will get that applause. That ceremony in second chapter, that crowning ceremony. Oh, bro. The angels rejoicing, the heavens rejoicing, like that's gonna be the greatest victory, man. I got a lesson topic. Lord's will, I can do it tomorrow if the Spirit moves me. But the Spirit had me type it in, what is in the chat GPT, what does it mean to rub it in? When you're speaking about a victory, because that's been on my mind, like, man, the Lord gonna really rub it in, man. You know, like these people that have, you know, hated us and talk shit and everything like that. Like when this destruction comes, the Lord gonna really rub it in. All right. You know, all the shit that these people have talked towards us and everything like that, man.
Yeah.
Like he gonna really rub it in these people's faces, man.
The Lord said He gonna give us fame.
Yep.
You know,
In the land where we've been put to shame.
Yep.
You know, it says how we're gonna boast of ourselves, or our mouth is gonna be enlarged against our enemies, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but that's what's to come, a marvelous victory. But just going back to the point, is like they're gonna applaud us, man. The same people that's talking shit, man. You threw your life away. If they're Israelite, you know, you threw your life away and so on and so forth, man. All right, they're gonna be applauding like, man, I didn't understand it. Man, he's one of them. I didn't even, man. And then they see you, they're gonna bow down. You know, they're gonna bow down. Yahushua said that in the book of Revelation, man. I'm gonna cause them to bow down and know that I love thee. You know, he's gonna make it known, like, no, I loved him, man. Look at what he did for me. And they're gonna sit there, they're gonna sit there in shame, but then they're gonna appreciate it and understand. And all of our people, man, your mom gonna get it, your dad gonna get it, your cousin gonna get it, your sisters, your brothers, they all gonna get it. They all Israelites, you know. They're gonna be in the kingdom, like, man, that was my brother. You know what I'm saying? You know, can you imagine how dumb Yahushua's brothers felt that didn't believe? Like, bro, I grew up with him. We were in the same house. All right? And I didn't even believe him. And now he was the son of Yahweh. You know how goofy they felt? Probably, you know. You know how crazy these people are gonna feel when the Lord magnifies his servants after he gets his magnification, man. Once Yahushua gets his glory and those joint heirs with him, you know the feeling that they're gonna feel. So go hard for the Lord, man. They're gonna get it anyways, man. You know what it is. All right. Well, he gave it to me. Fuck it. I'm gonna keep pushing. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know, I can't wait till people see it. I can't wait to certain people that was talking all this trash. I'm like, man, you don't know what you're doing, man. I cannot wait. You know, for that day where it's like, oh shit, man, he had it right. I had no clue. Didn't perceive a reward for blameless souls, man. But you got it.
It says. I just reread verse 5 again. It says, and having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded, for the Most High proved them and found them worthy for himself.
So that's the part of the proving. Okay? It's sometimes dealing with your family talking and trying to pull you and this and that and the third. It's a part of the proving. You know, the testing, the trial. When I come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. So whatever pulls on your heartstrings, all right, the Lord's going to allow those different things to happen to see if you fear him more through faith in him, right? So we have to be mindful of these different things, man, because the Lord is going to put us to the test to really see if we're going to put him first, you know? So we want to make sure that we aren't allowing these different things to pull us away from Yahweh Yahushua, man. You know, going back to the starting precept, man, when my father and my mother forsake me, I will bring thee up, man. You had quoted that precept earlier. I don't know if you want to grab it in Sirach. He will love thee more than our mother doeth.
That's what I was trying to find too.
Kind of, I'll find it for you.
Yeah, just to add in that precept, because it says being a little chastised in the book of 2 Corinthians, it speaks about how this is a light affliction, you know, and this is just something that we just have to go through, man. And it says that he that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved. So we just got to endure the little chastisement, the little hell that we have to catch. Yeah, it hurts. But if we endure, what it says in the Hebrews, you know, the chastening of the Lord isn't joyous but grievous. But it says in the end, it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness. So, you know, we can suffer whatever we got to suffer, you know, and we're going to get through it through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shah. And we're going to come out as gold, man.
It says the sufferings for this present time
It's not worthy.
It's not worthy.
2 Corinthians.
Mm-hmm. But I got that Sirach
4:10.
Yeah, it's Sirach 4:10. It says, "Be as a father unto the fatherless, and instead of an husband unto their mother."
Mm-hmm. And now this is the stead that the men of the Lord are in. It says, "Be as a father unto the fatherless." What does the father do? He provides the instruction, the discipline, right? And it says, "And instead of an husband unto their mother," right? So once again, being in the position of guidance and direction, man. All right. And that's what we're given through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, right? But go ahead.
It says, so shalt thou be as the son of the Most High, and he shall love thee more than thy mother doeth.
Right, so you thought your mama loved you.
Mm.
The Lord's like, man, if you doing this for me,
Right.
look, bro, your mama don't even have no, she can't even love you the way that I love you. All right? She can't even do what I'm going to do for you. Okay? You know? So stay locked in on this. That's the love. We want that type of love from the Lord where he's like, man, I love you more than, you know? Like Yahweh Shai said, this is my beloved son in whom I'm well pleased, man. I want to follow that stead of Yahweh Shai, man. And, you know, do those things that are pleasing and being beloved of the Father, man. The scriptures talk about how there's certain people that love the praise of men more than the praise that came from the heavens, from the Most High, man. All right? You know? So they cared more about how other people looked at them and, you know, how other people, you know, regarded them as opposed to how the Lord was looking at them. So we have to stay locked in. It's like, how's the Lord looking at me? Right. That's what I'm concerned with. I don't give a damn about whoever else, however they look at me. How does the Lord view me? How does he see me? You know, that's what's important, man. Okay? It says, though thy wisdom, though a man be ever so perfect in the sight of the children of men, if thy wisdom be not with him, he shall be nothing regarded, man. He's like, look, man, I ain't trying to be nothing regarded, man. No, if you got this wisdom and you're applying it, man, you're regarded highly by Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. It says how wisdom obtaineth his love. So he gives his wisdom to those that he loves. All right? And those that he loves, they're going to apply that wisdom, man.
Yep.
You know?
Because through that wisdom, that's going to allow us to get nearer unto the Most High and be close unto him. They say to be allied with wisdom is immortality. So that's what we're trying to partake in. Yep. But it starts with putting on this wisdom, applying this wisdom.
That's right.
You have more?
That was it.
I got a quick one.
Go ahead.
This Isaiah chapter 49.
We'll close it out with it unless you brothers got anything else.
This Isaiah chapter 49 and verse 14. It says, but Zion said, Yahweh hath forsaken me, and my Lord hath forgotten me. It says, can a woman forget her sucking child, that she should not have compassion on the son of her womb? Yea, they may forget, yet will I not forget thee. And I have this in the I want to read this in the NLT as well. It says, never can a mother forget her nursing child. Can she feel no love for the child she has born? But even if that were possible, I would not forget you. So the Lord not going to forsake us, man. Even if your mother do. The Lord not going to forget us. He's not going to leave us lacking.
That's it.
I want to bring up this quick one. I had quoted it, but the quote didn't do no justice. This is Romans 8 and verse 18. It says, for I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. So, hey, so whatever's on our plate, whatever we have to go through, all right, it's not comparable. It's not even in the same, ballpark, to what's going to be revealed onto us, man. All right, the scripture says what? Unto you paradise is open. All right, rest is allowed, man.
Yeah, the tree of life is planted, plenteousness is made ready. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm trying to get. What, bro? You know what I'm saying? Fuck what anybody else feel about it. I'm trying to get there. Like,
plenteousness is made ready.
They don't see it, and they don't have the eyes to see it. The Lord has given us the eyes to see the kingdom, the things that come, what we have to look forward to, man. We really highly blessed, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and just to add another point, we just can't let, and like we've been saying throughout this lesson, we just can't let these outside, whatever anybody else got to say, their opinions, their emotions, whatever they have to say, it don't even matter at the end of the day.
Yeah. Don't let the incredulity of them trouble thee.
To speak against thee.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's right. That's it. That's right. Brothers have anything else? Hey, so Lord's what I was edifying, man. We're going to end it right there and give all praise, honor, and glory
to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Ba'akadosh.
Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, pushing out this word in all sincerity and the truth. With that, we're going to say shalom.
Shalom.
Ball.
Ball.